Hey guys and girls, Joshy here, BJonGameDay, back for another week. Boys and girls, round two. It was a little bit kinder to Supercoaches, I think, this week, but not by much, Hampton, mate, we both, I think, went solid. We both saw sort of green arrows this week, mate, which was nice. But at the same stage, mate, 1,000 average looks absolutely amazing at the moment.
Yeah, buddy, another round, another tough week of scoring, to be honest. Yeah, look, I'll take it. Better than last week. I think I jumped up about 30,000 spots, King, and I'm into the top 50K now. So big numbers. But yeah, look, it was left some points out there for sure. But, you know, I think between about 900 and 1,000 seemed to be where you wanted to be this week if you wanted to stay with, you know, the pack or see some green arrows, really.
Mate, look, I was pretty happy because I reckon I'm ranked about as high as I got all last season, so that's not too bad for me. Mate, 2 rounds in, yeah, pretty happy. I'm up to about 30,000. So, what about yourself, Bogan, mate? You had a cracking week one. What happened in week two, mate?
iPhone. Mate, pretty much same as last week, 930 something. So, yeah.
Flying.
Was talking to Breno earlier. Got 500 grand to spend on someone, but everyone I was picking, Brent was like, "Oh, he's got COVID now." And it's like, "Oh, he's been suspended," and it's like, "Ah, fuck." So
yeah,
be looking to make a purchase of another gun, though.
Yep. Very good. Well, that's good, mate. It I guess just solidifies your team a little bit more, which is good. Hampton, mate, this week. What's more important, going for points or going for cash generation with regards to your trades?
I'll have to sit on the fence, King. I guess it just depends on the makeup of your team, to be honest, mate. But At the end of the day, you don't win the 50,000 by, you know, whoever's got the most cash in the bank or whoever was smartest with their money. It's, you know, the most points. So, yeah, I mean, in relation to obviously Turbo playing his third game, facing a over 300 break even this week up against the Dogs. You know, I think if you've got him, you just got to hold him realistically. Like, you can't surely jump off him now. He's played the two hardest teams in the comp. He was always going to have a tough couple first games. But yeah, I don't know. I'd still be sticking with Turbo if I had him and chasing those points because there's a lot jumping off. I'm seeing, King.
Mate, there is a lot jumping off. They took the gamble to begin with. They've lost points on him. They've lost points as captains. They've lost points as other players they could have. You know, the money could have gone elsewhere. It was truly that coin flip where it really probably hurt your season completely, or you would look like a genius. And unfortunately for Turbo owners, he did play very average in the first 2 weeks. So, mate, look, I don't really care whether they hold him or they get rid of him. I didn't have him. So, yeah, I'm quite happy. But I have seen, I think, like you said to me earlier, mate, you thought, oh, did I have Turbo? No, I put up a trade in the chat, in one of the BJ chats, and it was purely about a friend of mine who does have him and trying to get rid of that guy, trying to sort of get rid of him, but to bring in everyone else. So I think it was, and obviously this was before the news came out that Harry Grant has COVID, which is the other big sort of story from today. But Turbo, someone else, just average players to go Nico Hines, James Tedesco, and Harry Grant. And I mean, you look at sort of the quality of player, I think I'd rather have those three than just Turbo. So I don't know, mate. It's a tough one. So I don't know where they go with it, but yeah, let's see. All the usuals in the chat: Kano, Marty, Benny, welcome boys. Kane, Shano, he's there. Tanaz has popped his head in. Shieldsy. We've got a few lads. This is good. But, mate, Hampton, who was your standout for last week that you sort of thought?
Oh, in my team or overall?
Oh, look, in your team or someone that you've got your eye on now that you sort of think I've got to get that player in?
I think for me, what it was Satili. I started with Satili as a bit of a pod to start the season, and he had a blinder in that first half.
Yep.
On the weekend, and then he went on to proceed to knock himself out 8 minutes in, I think, into the second half, which is a bit of a letdown. But I think he looked really good. some of the lines he was running and the areas of the park they were getting him in and giving him the ball was really promising to see, which was good. But obviously a bit of a letdown there with him getting knocked out and not returning to the park. It could have been. It's disappointing, just the sheer fact that it's so difficult to score points. So to have a guy that was a pretty big pod who started really well, even though he scored quite well, not finish the game, I could have made a bit more ground. But yeah, I think he looked really good. Not in my team, I wouldn't have a clue because I don't have him in front of me. But I thought Satili was a bit of a standout, and definitely happy to start the year with him. Yourself?
For me, Nicho Hynes, mate. Look, I spoke him down to start the season. I didn't think he'd be the player he is. And to be fair, I don't think he's even hit top gear yet. Like Cronulla still looked that little bit lost. But just with how it's working out and his role in attack, Moylan is obviously useless. And it's just Nicho that's sort of bringing in the tries, try assists and things like that. So, mate, yeah, he's on my list to get in this week. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully he can hold that form. I think Cronulla's run isn't too bad.
Well, what I would say is I think I said about him last year, and I was someone that never got on him last year, and that was when he gets the ball and he's running around, guys, he just seems to have spiders on him. Guys just can't get hands on him. He's either deceptively very quick and or strong. And a couple of those plays on the weekend, like there was nothing doing. It was just literally nothing doing. He's drifting across field and then bang, he goes straight through, or something opens up. So I guess it'd be nice to see him sort of play in person to see what it's like, because it looks just so deceptive when you're watching him.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like he's doing much, and then he just goes straight through. So
we've seen Teddy do it for years, except Teddy looks like he's got ADHD when he does it. Nicho just does it so smoothly. So, it does look good. I reckon we need a poll in the chat.
That said, I mean, bang, he goes off, and then he's probably the hottest prospect now for Supercoach this year, given the start of all the other guns. And when you consider you could go turbo to him and bank 600K, it's pretty hard to overlook, right? Like it's getting borderline insane to not do that sort of trade if you don't already have Nicho when you put it like that. So yeah.
Hey, we need a poll. Can we get some votes in the chat, people? Do we like Brent front on the side, or at the 45-degree angle?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Like,
was it different again this week, is it?
What's the best angle? Mate, people look in your eyes, mate.
Oh, but fucking, I'm working with a little bit of. I could measure the width of this fucking desk with this fucking 30-centimeter ruler. Come on, I'm working with limitations here.
Mate, I've only ever measured one thing with a 30-centimeter ruler, and didn't turn out that good. All right, let's see how that. Oh, can we get a poll in there? Can we? Front, 45 degrees.
What was it? Your Subway lunch? Subway? Fuck me, front on. Serious?
Front on.
I'm not here to fucking look at me. We're here to talk Supercoach.
Put the poll on Messenger. All right, Bogan doesn't use Messenger, Shieldsy. Come on, mate. Mate, let's. Bogan's done the poll, so can we get into the games, Bogan, or is that too hard to switch while you're doing that? All right, front side. Oh,
fuck me, Dad.
Does that go into the live chat?
Yeah, it's in there.
I can get on. There we go. All right. Boys, let's kick off with last week's games.
I gotta fucking sort this laptop out now. Fuck me.
Mate, just look at the camera, mate. Look at the camera. Friday night saw an absolute shithouse game. This was terrible. This was brilliant from the Storm, atrocious from the both of them, absolute miracle from the Bunnies, and I think in the first two rounds we've seen the greatest two drop goals that I've ever seen. Kurt Copewell last week for the Broncos, that was just sublime. That's got Latrell's beat, but Latrell from 45 out with fucking 18 seconds to go or whatever it was just absolutely amazing. So
after going none from three to give his team the win prior to that.
Yep. So mate, 15-14 to the Storm. 1 point winners in Golden Point. Harry Grant, mate, what a comeback. It is an absolute tragedy that he's out this week with COVID. We both got him in last week, mate.
We did.
Sure.
I did. So if you did, yeah, I did.
Yep. Mate, he's obviously just a hold. He is the class hooker in the game, and in a position where there are limited numbers with regards to potential, ceilings. The years of the Cameron Smiths, Cookie's just not the player he was. Reed Marnie's just not good enough. He is just the one and only choice at hooker, I think.
Yeah, look, he's just so dynamic. He wants the ball in his hands. He gets out of dummy half pretty quickly. Like we all know what he's capable of, and he's again. I think he must be a little bit deceptively quick for a little nugget, but he finds those line breaks pretty regularly and just always in and around. Wants the ball, sniffing around it. So that's what you want in your Supercoach players, and yeah, obviously at hooker there, he looks to be a standout. Fantastic.
Turn it up, folks. This is good. This is getting better and better.
So yeah, look, Harry's the standout, but he won't be the standout this week because he's out. So all those people plan to bring him in this week, change of plans. Whether it's a blessing in disguise or not, we'll see. But I think it'll be an interesting sort of makes it hard now because if you're looking to bring him in, you might be looking at someone like Starling or someone like that. And if you go him, you'll probably have to trade a Randall or something like that to get Grant in eventually.
I can't support Starling. I know Kano's keen on him. A couple other lads are. I just think Canberra were really bad last week. Ricky uses his bench in very, very strange ways, week in, week out. It's never the same. Matty Frawley is solid enough player where he could take 30, 40 minutes off Starling. So, who knows what's going to happen there. But I can't go Starling, mate. I can't see him getting more than sort of 50 points, which is, most people have got Grant Randall combination if they've got that sort of side already. Maybe you've got Marnie, maybe you've got someone else, but mate, I'm sticking with anything else there that I've got. I'm not bringing in Starling. I think it's a waste of a trade.
No, look, fair. I think it's a cash maker as well. He's obviously pretty cheap, and then he's probably going to get you to someone in a few weeks. I still see him making a bit of coin, but if points is what you want, I don't know. I think he's quite good, so we'll see what happens. But I'm not getting on him. I've got Randall and Grant, and I'll just sit with Randall this week, unfortunately.
Yep, fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Much else to look at from that game, mate? South really didn't sort of do too much with regards to Supercoach. Latrell was solid. Murray was solid off the bench. He's back to starting this week. Munster, mate, was solid.
I thought Munster was very good. He looks keen. He looks up for it, and he's a different player when he actually does want the ball. I've actually had a bit of a look at him this week myself, but yeah, I thought promising signs from Munster as well, and obviously with Grant out this week, he might play, a bit more of a prominent role in the attack. So apart from that, I don't know, like it was a funny old game as you said, and probably not much else for me.
Yep. Let's go to the first game on the Friday night, and mate, I saw the first half of this, and I thought the Panthers were good, but the Dragons were just average. And I really thought the Panthers had run away with it, especially based on the week before. And it just didn't happen. So Philly Kickout had another massive game. Mate, they pulled the heartstrings on me earlier with the tribute. I guess the video of his family and everything like that. Mate, I used a few tissues, absolutely. So congratulations to Philly Kickout.
Would you have a wank?
Panthers. What's that?
Did you have a wank?
Yeah, mate. I had. No, that's Timmy Mooney, mate. He fucking gets issues out for Philly Kickout, mate. Really
sorry, yeah, right. Sorry, interrupt that emotional fucking.
But mate, look, I mean, it's just the Supercoach score. It's really, really sort of hard to pinpoint anyone across all positions at the moment that's the standout. I know it's only 2 rounds in, but mate. Yeah, I know Kickout's had 2 good games, but he scored 3 tries, and I'm not sold on him having to get him in. I think there's going to be a week very, very shortly where we see the 30-point Kickout come back, and that's what annoys me. I want a second rower that every week, I'll take 65 to 70 every week, rather than 85 and then 30. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. I thought the Dragons were hard done by at times, a couple of sin bins as well, and they were very much still in the contest by the end of the game. Whether I don't know anything to read into that in terms of how the Dragons performed. I thought they looked quite good and brought themselves back in the game there as a scoreline reflect, and they lost a man for 10 minutes on 2 occasions in that game. So, yeah, look, Penrith still without Cleary getting the job done as they always do, which is pretty impressive from a Supercoach perspective. Brian To'o is obviously a pretty big one, King, out now for, I don't know if it's 4 to 6 or 6 to 8 weeks with the MCL, I believe it was. I could be mistaken. But that's a big out there for the Panthers, and he'll be in line for a pretty decent price drop when he does play his 3rd game as well. But, yeah, that's probably about it for me.
Cool. Second game on the Friday night, and the Roosters getting over the Sea Eagles. Made 22-0 at halftime. The Eagles were never in it. Mate, like you say, Tupanua, his first half of football was absolutely awesome. This is probably more the Roosters side, obviously, we expected to see. This is, it's definitely that Supercoach friendly side. A lot of the what the fuck are we doing, Bogan? Put me screen back up. A lot of the play obviously rolls around Teddy, but Keary looked fantastic. Keary on that left-hand side, really, really dangerous. I think it's just probably him needing some more footy on the field. So scored 63. I can see this going up and up. And when they come up against some weaker teams, I reckon the cricket scores will start to come again. I know people are talking about obviously the rule changes back and the no 6 agains inside your own 40 and such like that. But I reckon the Roosters are still the best team in the comp, and it's only just going to take time for them to put it all together.
Yeah, agreed. I think Sammy Walker looked a fair bit better as well. They just looked a bit more fluent in attack.
How quick is he?
He's quick, isn't he? He's very quick. He is very quick. He bounces around like a little Jack Russell or something. But yeah, again, that Manly side, I think, King, you consider, I know they lost him sort of towards the back end of last year, but I really think Manly are missing that AFB type guy. He's punching up those meters in the middle. He's a handful, 3-4 blokes in. He can get the offload away. Starts their set off well and complements someone like Marty pretty well. They miss him a bit, and I also miss they miss someone like Schuster. I don't think Foran offers too much in attack. He's pretty stock standard these days, and someone like Schuster out on that edge just adds a different dimension to their attack. So I think a couple of those are big losses, especially AFB. But I think once Schuster comes in, it adds a little bit more. But they're still not looking amazing.
You talk about go forward, like obviously with AFB missing, and even someone like Josh Alloway, mate. Like he was solid enough last year, So I think they just look a little bit lost up forward, and mate, they're just not getting quality balls to their backs. From a Supercoach point of view, mate, DCE just sort of continue. Look, I like DCE this year. I really do. He tends to start the seasons off pretty quiet. So the fact that he's had a couple of solid scores in that first 2 weeks, I reckon, over the next 3 to 4 weeks, he's just going to get stronger and stronger. And, mate, Olakatu looks a beast. Olakatu looks absolute beast. I don't know whether is that awkward price around that 510,000. If you haven't started him, it's hard to get a player like that in. But, mate, if he continues to do what we've seen there last week, he could be one to look out for in the next 3 or 4 weeks to get in.
Yeah, for sure. He's emerging and looking really good. I thought the other interesting thing, King, I did notice in this game, it looked as though Billy Smith switched to the wing and Momorovsky switched from the wing to the other side out to Tupu's side, and Manu may have played inside Billy Smith. It was kind of strange, but Billy Smith racked up 30 points just in base. I think it was 32 points in base. I was actually looking at selling him this week, but if he's occupying one of those chook wings and he's going to produce that sort of base, 300K, I think you probably don't need to worry about selling him because I think there's some good potential there. But that was just something I noticed.
I went sideways. I went sideways last week, and I went him to Cobbo.
Yeah.
What I saw in week 1 from Cobbo, he was solid. Yeah, I just saw the potential there. But I guess what we always get from centre wingers is inconsistency. You know, they don't get the same amount of ball week in, week out. There's up against different opposition in the wings that are some are better defenders or it's one of the hardest positions to sort of do. And I mean, Billy Smith, there's potential there. We've seen it in past seasons. We've seen the injuries. I've jumped off him now. I hope I don't come to regret it, mate.
No, look, I don't think he looked that good that you'll have to lose sleep over it, but I just think he could be still a solid little mid-ranger to start the year anyway.
What do people do with Crichton, mate?
Yeah, interesting. He's been dropped to the bench this week. Team list will get there. He has been relegated, and I mean, it's quite interesting. You've got Satili that's still possibly under some doubt with his HIA. I'm not sure what's doing there, but yeah, what is he? 650k King. I know a lot of people had him. I don't know what his ownership percentage is, but it's pretty decent from what I remember.
Mate, look, I don't know how I avoided him all pre-season. He was my first second rower pick, and I've ended up with DFIFI and IPAP. Mate, wow. He hasn't even looked any good either. You know what I mean? Like, you know, if we talk about people passing the eye test, he really on the field hasn't looked good. So I'm not too sure what's going on there.
Look, I don't know. He's 650k. He's 25% owned from what I'm looking at right now, which is pretty heavy. And 100 break even. Look, I guess the issue is you pick him because he's an 80-minute edge back rower, and he's not going to play 80 minutes and possibly might not feature on the edge depending on how they look at it. So, you know, he's definitely a possibility of a trade this week, but it's probably not dire straits just yet with him. If you don't have to, don't worry about it. But it's a bit of a...
Yeah, keep going, sorry.
Yeah, I think at this point, you know, if you've got someone like a Turbo or something like that, I think it'd be a higher priority, obviously, something like that. But I don't know. It's a tough one. I didn't start with him. I'm a big fan of him, but I just didn't like the price. But, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And last one before we go into the first game from Saturday, mate. That bloke down the bottom there of the Roosters list.
I was waiting for this.
What fella's name?
I was wondering if you're going to notice this. Look, form is temporary, class is permanent. He'll bounce back. Don't you worry about him.
Oh, mate, he can fucking bounce back all he likes, mate. He now needs to average 70 to get over his fucking points needed. So I'm safe, mate. I'm fucking safe as hell. All right, let's go to the first game on the Saturday, Bogues. Titans and Warriors. Warriors leading 18-16 at halftime in a high-scoring first half again, much like the Titans and Eels last week, before a low-scoring second half. 2 penalty goals in the second half, getting the Titans across the line. Bowie Firmus scoring in the fucking 42nd second of the match. Inside that first minute. Beautiful work there from Brimson. Mate, talk to me through this. There's a few players here that are definitely Supercoach relevant from both sides.
Yeah, well, Bowie Former, I fucking cannot say his name for more.
Jesus.
He's doing what we're all sort of hoping David Fifita would do, to be honest, and he's almost like he just reminds me of Fifita. Sometimes I have to double take to tell which one. They got similar haircuts, but
ladies and gentlemen at home, despite his appearance, this bloke in front of you, Brent Hammond, is actually quite a smart fella. Yet he can't pronounce a 2-syllable fucking word, and he gets it wrong every fucking week.
It just fucks me. I don't know. It doesn't look right. Anyway, look, yeah, a big one from Bowie. I'll just call him Bo. That was good. He was pretty relevant. Did you trade him, or someone I know traded him last week, and I just scolded them. I wasn't you, was it, King? But
mate, he's my mate. I'm loving Bowie. He's my cash cow for the year.
I actually brought Toby Sexton in last week, King, and one thing I didn't factor in is that Alexander Brimson wasn't there last week, and I think Alexander Brimson looked unbelievably good. He looked very dangerous. He looked very involved, and generally the ball went to him in the key attacking positions, or if he wanted the ball, he got it. And that's another thing I guess I'd say on David Fifita. As funny as it sounds for the Titans side, they have a number of attacking options now, and you think they have Brimson. They've obviously got Jaden Campbell at the back now. Sexton's there. Guys like Famore. Brian Kelly. They have a number of options. They don't have to just look for Fifi now, and they don't use him. So Fifi's another interesting one. King, do you own him?
I do. Yeah, absolutely.
What are your thoughts on?
Holding,
Fifi?
mate. Yeah, holding. Last week he was very average, right? Last week he was ordinary. Didn't really do much. Scored 50-odd points. And the week before, I think he scored about the same. The thing I like about Fifita, I don't think the opposition matters. I don't think it matters whether he plays a top 4 side or a bottom 4 side. It's simply what mood is he in. And that's what scares me more than anything else. Like, more than any other player in the comp, there are players that are, play good on form. Week in, week out, they're just consistent. Maybe they go through 4 or 5 weeks before Orange. Before Origin, where they play well. David Fifita just plays well whenever the fuck he wants. So I'm scared that I'm going to miss that 120, 130. And the simple fact is that because I already own him, I'm going to hold him.
I think the other interesting thing is there's been a switch on which side of the park a couple of these back rows are playing. So I think both David Fifita and Angus are now playing out on the right, but they traditionally score better or have scored better playing on the left. So I don't know how much you read into that, but yeah, that's also something that's occurred, which someone has mentioned in the chat as well. So yeah, look, I'm holding him just because he's got that ceiling. Obviously, King as well. It's too scary not owning him, but he's going to drop a bit of cash, it looks like, and he's just not involved enough for me. So
yeah, no, fair enough.
Yeah, look, where he side of the park, I think Walsh looked good as well. He's a bit of a pot at fullback, given all the conjecture around fullbacks. I think he's promising and kicking goals as well. And Curran was really solid. His score probably doesn't reflect how I thought he looked out on the field, but he was really good, base solid, and he's just a dangerous guy with the ball close to the line. He looks for it and has a bit of white line fever. So I think Curran looks really good.
Yeah, look, mate, for me, it was that coin flip. I went Leilua instead, Lucy Leilua. I think he scored mid-70s this week. He bumped up after updates. But, yeah, Curran and him, very much the same kind of player. Attacking abilities. Probably Curran looks the fitter of the two and probably in the better team, obviously, overall, with how the Tigers are performing. But, mate, Lucy, he just keeps going. So, yeah, Curran, I could definitely have him. Mate, talk about Aiken just quickly. What are your thoughts on him? If you've got him, he's got to be a hold, surely. I've heard someone was fucking talking about trading.
All I'm going to say is round 1, 50 points in base. Round 2, 46 in base. Say no more.
There's not an attacking stat in sight yet.
There's nothing there, really.
So,
no tries, 50 points, 60 points. You can't, 45 to 50 in base is unbelievable.
He is not a trade. Whoever that one person was out of 125,000, slap yourself.
Yeah.
All right. Next game on the Saturday, mate, the 5:30 game. Who do we have, Bogan? I can't remember.
It was your boys. An absolute classic. Benny, where is he? Is he in the chat?
Benny, fucking get that up, your son. Yes.
What's going on in the chat? Lots of chat about hammers. What's doing? What have I missed?
Some gents came in and demanded spanners, and the chat wanted me to give the spanners out, so I did, and then one person started abusing the spanner, so they got the hammer, so they got timed out. They'll be back. But,
who got the hammer?
Jed Rosenberg, he can have a spanner. He's all right.
Jetty. Who got the spanner? Who got banned?
He didn't get banned. I timed him out. But Matt Groves asked for a spanner, and I gave him a spanner, and he used it to straight away time someone out.
That's the way to abuse the power. Well done. So, actually, he belongs with us.
Nah, he's not getting it back. Port Kembla Warrior had his comment removed. So we'll say it on air. He brought Gran in this morning after some shuffling around and reversed the changes this afternoon.
And then Matty timed him out for 5 minutes.
What a time!
Good on you,
What's
mate.
Graves doing? Dead set.
But mate, obviously this game on the weekend, wow, it was a cracker. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time, and I'll be honest, mate, it's probably it's probably the first game since the 2016 grand final that I've cheered that fucking loud at the end of the game. Wow. Mate, the emotions were running high. Mate, Nico kicking that goal after the siren. Oh, I was in love, mate. And 101 he updated to. Very, very, very Supercoach friendly player. Will Kennedy absolutely had a cracker again. He is just an unbelievable player at fullback. And, yeah, he could, yeah. It's hard with just the current crop of fullbacks of having him in, but I think the actual winning side for the week had Will Kennedy.
It did. Will Kennedy and Blake Taff at the back.
Yeah. So very interesting there. And mate, from the Para side, Bogan just took it away, but Gutho had a solid game. Put on some points. Dylan Brown had a good comeback, and mate, IPAP would just work tirelessly, but he doesn't look. Him and Leilua look the same. They look like they're wrecked after 4 minutes, and they look the exact same after 77. So it's a bit of a strange one.
Yeah, look, this was a great game. I watched this game, and yeah, it was a blinder. Again, just that Nico Hines factor. He's in everything. That's what we want our Supercoach players. So a lot of people jumping on him. Can't blame him. Goal kicking, doing all that sort of stuff. I must admit, your boy IFAP looked like Junior Paulo. It took me a little bit to get used to that haircut he got.
Yeah.
I thought I was looking at Junior out on the edge and he trimmed up a little bit. It was throwing
honestly, there's a few in that team I do get confused. I had to pick him out a couple of times. Mate, I'll tell you what, and not really Supercoach related, but Oregon Kafusi is signed with Cronulla next year. He looked really good in the first half. Like, I was actually pretty impressed. I'm glad we've signed him because he looks like a bit of a player. Thanks, Blocker. But anyway, is that it? Not really much else to say about this game, was there? Move on.
No, McInnes is back and he'll drop some coin now. He's played some dirty minutes, so he could be cheap in a few weeks.
Yep.
If you like him.
Mate, look, I've got to be honest, I didn't watch this game. I was very surprised to hear the result. Tell me about it, mate. Did you watch?
I did watch. I just think the Raiders didn't show up, didn't play well enough, and the Cowboys did. They never really looked in doubt, to be honest. They just looked like they showed up and the Raiders didn't. Raiders obviously did a tough trip up there and maybe a bit of the heat. Peter Hiku was outstanding for the Cowboys, and that is reflected in his Supercoach score, top scorer there. And plenty of people looking at Peta Hiku this week, 360k king. So he's around your Cobbo, Coates, guys like that sort of price with a negative 21 break even. So I think there's some money to be made off Hiku, and he does look good out there.
I'll be honest, I don't mind him, mate. I've always been a fan of Peter Hiku, even back to the Manly days, when he used to deputise behind Brett Stewart and stuff like that. So he's been a solid player whichever club he's gone to, whether it was here, whether it was Warriors, whether it was Manly. Yeah, he could definitely see himself 500k in the next 6-7 weeks.
The only other not really the only other, but we had Lolo only play 56 minutes for 51 in base, and there was not much else doing. So, I mean, I own Lolo King, and I'll hold him because at his price, he's not going to leak too much money, and hopefully he can only get better. But, yeah, it didn't pan out the way I'd hoped or thought it might have when I started the season with him. What am I missing now? What the fuck?
Oh, you're laughing at. Oh, Groves is back. During my time out.
Matt Groves. Matt Groves.
Yes. Give it to him. See what he does this time. Give it to him. Matty. Hey, Matty, you better come up with something that's fucking better than that. All right? Either that or be good. One of the two.
I know you touched on it, King, as well, but obviously as well throughout the week, or at least after the weekend, news that Josh Hodgson won't play again this season. So what that means, obviously, is that hooking position for the Raiders up in the air. We had Starling on the weekend play 57 minutes and only resulted in 39 points, of which 35 of that was base. We've got this young Trevelyan who come off the bench, and then they've named Frawley, was it, to come off the bench this week?
Yep.
So obviously Starling's not going to get the 80 from the looks of things, but I still think he can be effective and relevant in 60 despite.
How much is he?
I think he's 360 340, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, mate, if it was 240, yeah, maybe he's a go. But I just
he's awkward. He's a little bit
upside.
awkward. So.
I really don't see the upside. Yeah. Anyway,
I see it. I can see it. It just might not be consistent enough. Anyway, moving on to the Sunday, and it was I'm having to pinch myself at this point of the season, 2-0, but my boy's getting home over the Tigers, 26-4, and sort of another one of those. Never looked in doubt. Yeah, mate, we fucking dominated the Chooks, dominated the Tigers, mate.
Where do they sit on the ladder?
Yeah, we're 2-0, yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, no, but
in the top 4.
For and against, you're on top, aren't you?
I didn't think we were on top. Oh, yeah, I haven't looked at the ladder, but
anyway,
we'll be up there.
Yeah, they were good. Gagai top scorer again. Mate, he's figured out how to take Queensland form to club level. I was surprised. Let's see how long it lasts.
Look, I think one thing I would say is that it was a bit like, I don't know, there was no Ponga in this game. He was a late exclusion.
Yeah.
We also miss Clemmer from this one. No Dan Safidi still. But we just looked solid. Like we didn't, we used a number of, Gagai contributed. Frizzell was awesome. I think Frizz was in everything.
He was
Clifford looks very good. I think that mentoring from Joey Johns could be doing our halves a world of good. Obviously, Best obviously contributed. Dom Young was solid. So I think everyone's just playing their part, and they're not concentrating on one player. And I think in round one we saw. I thought I saw Ponga play more of a acting half sort of role, and maybe that's it. They're just sort of trying to get the best out of everyone, and so far so good.
I'll tell you what, mate. That try that Frizz scored as well.
Yeah.
Mate,
what?
What's he done?
Matty Groves. Oh, he's lost his.
You're about to feel the wrath of Bogan, mate. You better not be on Twitter, because if you are, fuck, he will find you. What are we going to do?
You got to take his wrench away.
Apologies about wielding the spanner. Mate, Frizz, the try that he scored, taking that catch.
Yeah, how good.
His bootlaces, mate. That was brilliant. That was great to see. So, mate, yeah, he's playing really well. I'd be going him before kick out. So.
Yeah, I thought he was a feature of what we were trying to do. But the only other one, I thought Kurt Mann has always been told he needs to pass the ball a bit more. So I think it's time to jump off Mann. He's not playing 80. We didn't play 80 the first couple of weeks. He's only playing that 60-minute mark.
Yeah.
The base is okay, but it's not there for that price that I thought it might have been. I thought he might have been able to push a bit more base and would run the ball a bit more, but he's obviously got the memo that he needs to be that conduit in the middle of the park to the outside of the field. So he's passing the ball a bit more. I'm looking at trading Kurt Mann this week.
Can't say firmer, but he can put conduit in a sentence. Fuck, man.
And the other interesting one coming out of that Tigers game, King, we'll get to it in a minute, but I was talking to Bogan earlier. Jackson Hastings fought his charge and was unsuccessful, so he will now be unavailable for selection for the Tigers until round 6.
Shit.
So, I thought Hastings looked okay and was goal kicking and looked all right, but he'll now be gone for three weeks just to add to the carnage.
Considering the Tigers' overall performance, and Leilua was solid and a workhorse, but my Hastings tried everything he could to get this team in. He was taking every second hit up at the end of the game.
Yeah.
He was trying to do everything he could to get this team back in the game, and there's just nothing there. So Dane Laurie wasn't too bad either, mate. Again, probably doesn't reflect in Supercoach land and scoring, but those two guys really had a crack. Everyone else, mate, effort.
Yep.
And then what do we have on the Sunday Arvo?
Brisbane wrapped it up over the Dogs, 16-10.
Absolute cracker. We got, mate, the fucking Liam Knight Award winner, Matty Burton. He actually played all right, I think, from what I heard. I listened to it on the radio for most of this game because I was driving. But, mate, the Bronx getting over the line. Herbie Farnworth scored a couple. Corey Oates apparently was in everything, mate. He had probably his best game for the last couple of years. And Payne Haas, just his usual, truck it up self, mate, and the average sort of in that 60s to 70s.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was quite interesting after seeing the way that Stags and Cobbo played last week. I brought Cobbo in as well, King, and it was very different this week. They seemed to give most of the good ball out to the left. Stags almost, it was like you were looking where he was for a lot of it, which was disappointing. Look, a few dubious calls, but a really close game. I thought it was a good contest. As I have found with a lot of the games in the opening 2 weeks, that's what I think is that slight tweak to the 6 again seems to have got it at a good point, but we'll see how it plays out over the next few weeks. But, Supercoach wise, I said, Cobbo and Stags in particular, a couple that I owned, that was just, not how I thought this game would pan out. I thought these guys could combine for 100+ points together, and they barely made 50. So that was a bit disappointing. Obviously, Stags dropping that one over the line didn't help either. So that was quite annoying.
But mate, if the last 2 weeks, let's say 2 or 3 of these passes stick, let's say he doesn't drop that ball. If he doesn't drop that ball, he scores 70. He gets the
line break, gets the try, probably gets a tackle bust or something.
He doesn't get the error. The difference is huge. You look at last week at what they did, mate. He dropped that much ball. Cobbo dropped that much ball that he gave to him. And look, people are going to hurt by obviously their prices dropping, but mate, honest, round 5 or 6, he will be in my team. He will bounce back, and he's going to be nice and cheap to get in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, I just think he has the ceiling in him. I know he hasn't shown it, but I just think he's one of those guys that does have it in him. And even at 430k, I don't care if he loses 100,000. I still see Stags as a dangerous centre winger that.
Just Kane Anderson in the chat said read his stats. I did read him, Kane. It doesn't mean I have to announce them on air. Kano with the Starling starting stats.
All right.
2021, 5 times he started for 90, 57, 76, 60, and 31. And in 2020, he started 4 times for 87, 53, 50, and a 157.
I think we might have to go back.
Under 6s that week.
We might have to go back into the archives. So I do believe I was calling him the Super Starling fucking last year, wasn't I?
I don't know. I don't know.
Once again, another fucking gun that you cunts fucking took me out of. That's why I haven't showed you my team this year.
That's good. No, but what do you mean talked you out of? We never really had a crack at Starling to begin with because Hodgson had to start. We knew that.
I had Starling in draft. That's why I was calling him the Super Starling. It was Adam Dewey that you talked me out of last year.
Yeah, well, fuck, he proved that everyone should have had him in their team.
Yeah.
Oh, Blade gets a spanner too. Everyone gets a spanner.
Everyone gets a fucking spanner except for Matt Groves. You get fucked.
Everyone gets a spanner.
All right, fellas. You ready
King,
to move on to the team list?
Hang on. Just quickly. 2 of the better front row cheapies look to be your cousin and brother.
Yeah.
Josh Ross, or your brother, who's got the same name as you, and your cousin Max. Look, there's some issues with the security of Josh at Melbourne, but they got a couple injuries. He's obviously got the starting lock for now. Cheese due back soon. I don't know if they're still missing some.
I spoke to Billy earlier in the week. He thought it was me. That's why he's been so nice to Josh King. He thought it was me. We go back years and years. He thought I'd gotten better looking. Mate, fuck, you got to have both of them, don't you, surely? Just the price rises.
Yeah, especially Max. Max isn't playing huge minutes, but he's been real efficient with his PPM at nearly 1.5 points per minute. So,
what was the injury there last week for Maxie in that game? Just a cork or just a burner?
Max King?
Yeah.
No, I didn't even know that he got injured. I must have missed it.
All good.
I'm all over it. But anyway, that'll do.
That'll do. What are we doing, Bugs? What do we got next? Fucking Cobbo, you weak cunt. 20 points, you prick. What do we got? Next week's fixtures, yeah, my boys on the Thursday night taking on the Dragons at Wynn Stadium in Wollongong. This should be a good game. Both teams have started the season off well, a win and a loss each. I never really know how to take this. I reckon we could beat them by 60, but there's not that many teams scoring that many points at the moment. Moses Zembai, starting number 9 for anyone who follows our preseason form line. Get on. Fucking get on. And there's no, hey, and tell you what though, there's not anyone on that interchange bench who's going to replace him. So he's going to play 80. He's followed up a 69, I think, with a 39. He's at 312,000. There's worse buys in the season. He is at centre wing, and he probably gets hooker status in 6 weeks' time or after round 6. So it's not the worst. What's Sue's?
Who are you talking
Benny
about?
saying BC Hines. I hate the Thursday night game for Supercoach. I don't know. There's something about the Thursday night game. I try to stay away from it. With captain.
Fucking makes this show a pain in the ass. But yeah.
Why?
Why? Because we got fucking team list Tuesday, and then we got one day to get traction on the video.
Yeah.
And then everyone's picked their fucking teams. No one watches fucking video.
No one fucking watches anyway, mate.
Oh, yeah. As soon as they find out you get a free spanner just for showing up.
I tell you what, I'll put that in the next Facebook post. Free spanner, anyone who comes and joins in the chat.
Yeah, just as long as they know. But yeah, as I said,
use it until you abuse it.
Yep.
Supercoach wise, back on this one. Obviously, plenty of people keen on Nicho Hines this week. King, and understandably so. He's in line for a bit of a jump, and if you got guns you're uncertain of, like your Turbo to Hines is a pretty smart trade this week, realistically. Otherwise, apart from that, some people not keen on Jack Bird anymore. Played 75 minutes, but the base just wasn't there. He'll have some weeks where he blows up, but he was always going to have those weeks where he could have scored 30 or 40 in him, which is what we saw last week. But at his price, I think people are just jumping off a little bit. Apart from that, I don't know. There's nothing screaming relevance.
Is the Port Kembla Warrior, is that Matty?
It's Matty, Matty B.
Gotcha. Right, I just put it together when he put up the under-7s thing.
Yeah.
Anyone who checks out our Facebook page will see one of their footy teams. I don't know who it was. They're our little icon for the next month or two. Next game, Bogues, Friday night.
I also like Sloan King. I think centre wing Sloan. Sloan just looks like the kind of guy that's going to be involved in all the attack for the Dragons from what I've watched so far, and he can sniff out a try. So their draw improves a little bit now. They go, well, maybe not that much, but it's probably a bit rough for another few weeks. But I do like Sloan this year regardless.
I think the Sharks are going to pump him.
Can I ask, mate, with regards to what you know about the positional changes after round 6, round 12, round 18 and 24, whatever it may be. If a player plays solely in one of their dual positions, will they lose the other one?
No, they won't. They won't remove it. They can't.
At fullback, will he lose centre wing?
No, they can't because people have already picked him at centre wing.
Can you?
They can't.
6 fullbacks in your team. Okay.
And then what are all the people that got him at centre wing?
Yeah.
What happens to them?
No, exactly. Yeah.
It won't. No, that's it. So no, it won't change it. I'll add it, but they won't take it away. And if someone already has 2 and they're playing in a third position, they won't get a third one. As far as I'm aware, they'll just probably retain the 2 they had. So well, maybe not. Actually, that's an interesting one. But yeah, they won't remove it if the player.
And Matty Buckman, mate. Honestly, one thing I've always wanted in this show was to, just to do some stuff like we all loved the footy show back in the day, Fatty Vaught and everything like that. Mate, if you send us in a little league fucking video of someone scoring a try or doing whatever, we'll chuck it up in the show, mate. All right? I'd love to see something like that, buddy.
We'll get around that.
I really would. So, mate, if you can get the video camera on the boys this weekend, get us a runaway try, get us a big hit. Tell your biggest bloke just to deck some lad from the other team.
Yeah, I was going to say,
grade
better
5
yet,
reckless. Grade 5
right.
reckless.
If
I
you
want
can,
to see a coat hanger.
if you can send us in a video of some drunken parents punching on in the car park after the game,
You might see Fafita out there. Careful.
Yeah, for sure. Get onto that, Matty. All right, get onto that, son. Mate, the first game on the Friday night. Who we got, Bogues? Oh, they've got to step up. West Tigers. Wow, they've been terrible. Warriors have lost 2 now, both by I think 2 or 4 points, whatever it was. But have looked good. SJ gone hurts. Ash Taylor's been dropped. Cody Nicarima gets a 7 spot. Mate, what's Brownie doing with their halves?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of a lottery there. They've got a few combinations they can throw in, right? Obviously, SJ missing hurts, but I think this is probably their at least 167 for the immediate future. I don't know if Cody's actually leaving this season. Probably is, actually. I think he's getting a bit homesick or something.
Do you fellas know who the Tigers will bring in for Hastings?
I'd imagine it'll be Madden. Madden's the natural half, so I'd say Brooks probably goes to 6 and then Joel Madden will slide in, would be my initial reaction. But Peach could also go to 6. Peachy could go to 6 and Madden on the bench. So a couple options there, but I'd think one of those two would be where they'd go.
Peach looks terrible. He does. He looks terrible.
I don't know, King. I think, I love watching Reece Walsh. I think he's a superstar. And if I had some bigger issues with, say, someone like Tedesco this week or something like that, I would maybe look at Reece Walsh. I like Reece as a pod, goal kicking, and just a dangerous kid in general. Who else is in there? You got Curran, bit of relevance. Maybe Aitken can hopefully cross the line for a pie this week. Some people are banking on Katara to probably make a bit of money with some attacking stats this week as well. Tiger side of the park, I think Luciano started to look a bit better as that game went on. King, he was probably a little bit more quiet than you would have hoped. Not much attacking stats in him or anything like that. But I think he started to look pretty good, and his base was a bit better than round 1. So he's still looking pretty solid. So don't panic too much on Lucci. He's still pretty cheap. But he might even be a little bit cheaper next week. And I think the other one we're going to mention is that Tuolagi. I think he was a reasonably popular, cheap, sort of 260K in the back row. He will miss this week due to HIO protocols, I believe. So, Kelma Tuolagi is out, which sort of sucks for people, but he was only playing about 60 minutes. I suppose for someone like me that doesn't have him, it just means there's a possible guy you can look at, the following week if I need to downgrade someone. I haven't missed his rise or anything like that, even though it's probably not that much. But
Kano got to this before me. Dylan, my boy from work in the chat, put Curran going 70 this week. I was going to say, Dill, you've got to put your balls on the line, mate. That's what he averages. But Kano's got that first. So, mate, if you're going to throw out a fucking prediction, it's got to be something big, mate. Tell us he's going to go 110 or something. So, there you go.
Curran,
Matty Grove, you get him a spanner.
Shit.
Right, next game Friday night, Blockbuster, Rabbitohs and the Roosters. Shit, folks, talk to us, mate. Tell us about your shithouse fucking football team.
Yeah, showing some traditional form there, fucking Rabbitohs so far this season. Last week was fucking atrocious with all the missed fucking opportunities, and then fucking having Latrell fucking kicking goals when he shouldn't be. Should have just had him kicking fucking field goals all night. This could get fucking ugly. So
they've got to improve, surely.
Teddy Faithfuls might be in for some fun and games, I reckon.
Look, I've got to get rid of Cody Walker this week. We'll go through the trading floor shortly. But, mate, they just look uninterested, the Bunnies. Latrell obviously brought a little bit of passion there last week, and there was some improvement. It has to be to get into Golden Point when you're 14 points down. Massive inclusion on the bench there. Did he play last week? The man himself, the 17, Liam Knight? Or is this his first game back?
Who knows, sure. Mate? When he does play, you never
It's
hear
his
from
first
him.
game. I believe it's his first game back, Kim.
Fucking, I tell you what, pod action. Anyone needs a pod.
Look, he's only 300K, so have a look.
Yeah. Mate, people want to get on him the last 2 years when he was fucking 450. Now he's at a discount. Get on, lad. Get on and watch the fucking team get red arrows. Yeah, cunts. All right. But yeah, look, Jaira's been solid. Cam Murray's been good. I think Jaira's probably just been the average though player that I thought he would be. I don't know. He's just not that player he was at the Gold Coast when he had those good. You know, he only probably had 6 good games as well. He didn't even have a good season. But yeah.
Yeah. Rabbits will definitely have to step it up, but I think they can. I think obviously Melbourne were down a player when they went on that rampage at the end of last week, but Cody Walker looked like he really missed Adam Reynolds at times last week, so that combination is going to take a little while to develop. But yeah, they just looked a little bit different, didn't they, King? The timing wasn't quite right, and they just weren't able to give Cody that space that he's probably been so used to running off the back of Adam. So they got a little bit of work on there, but they got continuity with their side now. Hopefully Latrell can stay fit and they can put up a contest, and this one's always a bit of a fiery one. So, if the Rabbits can bring it down a bit to their level, maybe they can keep it close. And yeah, still think the Chooks, I think they looked far better last week and they've still got some room for improvement. So all the usual suspects there, whether you chuck a VC on Teddy or not, if you thought the Rabbitohs were pretty ordinary, which they were at least to start the game. And the big one is obviously Crichton on the bench there this week. Whether we see a Swifty and he ends up starting, I'm not too sure what the role he actually play. Will be interesting to see coming off the bench, or as I said, whether Satilli ends up missing because he's got some HIA hanging over his head.
And maybe forgetting that, maybe this is just the kick in the arse that Crichton needs,
Maybe.
Nat Butcher was good last week. Satilli was good. Arguably, they've got their better 2 form players at 11 and 12.
Fair call too.
Yeah.
Big Siwa Takiaho played 60 minutes of 65 in base, so he's not cheap. 500k front row. I think it's a little bit past him, but it was nice to see Siwa turn back the clock a little bit. The big man.
That's on the list.
Is he?
He is, mate. He's been on the list for a long time, and the reason
TKO.
that
fucking hell, man.
TKO is on the list. One,
Jesus Christ, mate.
And mate, he had the potential to be a Liam Knight Award winner, but they've talked about him for years with he gets to kick once every 6 games, and he's going to be kick extra 8 points, 12 points, 16 points a game, and then you get on and he fucking miss or whatever, but. He kicked for 20 minutes in a game. Mate, the guy disappears, right? The guy disappears as much as David Fafita. He can play brilliant, and last week we saw a really good game from TKO. He scored 69 points. Seasons gone by, those scores have been 85 and 90. I will accept that. But there's too many games that he throws in at 30 and 35 points. It's just... He's never been a go for me. He's always been a stay away. He's that Elliot Whitehead player as well. Like Elliot Whitehead is one where he'll play 2 or 3 games a year and he'll throw in 100 or a 90, and people will just think, you've got to get on him. He's hit form. And just as quickly as it comes, it fucking goes. So, comes on the list.
The problem is I think the Chooks line him so much that Robbo rests him at times and will preserve him and protect him a little bit when they need him. So, yeah, look, you won't probably get it every week, but I still think he's a gun, so you can get fucked.
Fair enough.
All right, moving on to the Saturday, 3 p.m, an absolute blockbuster. What will be the 22 Premiers taking on the Panthers at Carrington Park. I'm sure, is Shano in the chat? I'm sure if he's in the chat, it'll be now the time he pipes up. Look, obviously Brian Toto looks like he's going to be out for, I can't remember what I said, maybe 4 to 6 to 8 weeks, something like that. So just keep an eye on that one. Taylor May comes in place of him. So interesting one there, Taylor, obviously taking Toto's side. Now, we can have a look at Taylor May first. You don't probably need to rush to bring him in straight away, I reckon. Have a look this week, maybe next week, and then make a decision from there. But it looks like he'll have at least sort of 6 weeks or so in that position, which would be good. So he could be someone that you look at over the next couple of weeks. Cleary's obviously in the 24 king as well, not the 24, position number 24 on the team list. So keep your eye on team lists, because that would be a very interesting addition to that team sheet should he come in. King, if he does come in, how quickly do you think you need to try and prioritise getting Cleary in?
I don't know how I'd get there, mate, to be fair. I think with the form of like Nico, if you got him at halfback, you can probably wait. I don't think he's going to go gangbusters straight away. So, yeah, I think you can probably wait that 1 or 2 weeks, check out what he does, see whether he's going to drop the 100K you need to, maybe over 40 him, 150K, just sort of see where it's at. But if he gets a start this week, there'll definitely be some people who find a way to bring him in. I won't be one of them.
Yep. Ponga back for the Knights as well. That's a big in. And it could be a good game. If the Knights of the last 2 weeks shows up, it could be a good game. Supercoach wise, you got Barney starting on the edge now in place of Fitzgibbon. I'm not too sure how long Fitzgibbon's actually out for either. Fitzgibbon's knee, I'd have to have a look. DSAF is back as well.
Yep.
So he comes into the run-on side there with his brother at front row.
Clem's out for how long, mate?
Clemmer, I'm not actually too sure how long he is out for either. I'd have to have a look.
How good are we on this show? So they've said that Clem's had
fucking
knee surgery yesterday.
Okay.
They thought it was something innocuous, something small, something like, upper leg related. But he's gone in for some kind of knee surgery, and anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks for Clemmer. So what was likely back this week has turned into a few weeks on the sideline. So the Saifidi boys will probably benefit from that. And I think if anyone started with either Momasia or Thompson as cheapies, they will see a little bit of a price rise as well. Mate, Kurt Mann for me, yeah, probably one of the biggest disappointments. I thought he'd get more minutes, and I thought he'd get. I just thought he'd be a hog, more like that we've seen it. He wouldn't pass that ball, and he's learned to pass it. I don't know why he had to be the player who learned to pass it, but maybe Jaden Campbell can follow suit. I reckon it's hurting having him, mate. I'm going to get rid of him this week.
Man, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fair trade. I think there's just some better options around at the price point he's at. I was hoping he'd be able to average a bit more just in base alone. So yeah, I'm doing something similar, I think.
Yeah. Next game, both 5 o'clock. Storm and Eels, big game. I'm loving the Storm lineup in the back line with regards to Eremia. I think he is definitely a player to watch out for. Obviously, it took the injury to Jennings to sort of get there, and he's kept Nick Meaney out of the side as well. Nick Meaney obviously, played in a lot of the preseason and played in that first game. He sort of kept him away from there. So we'll just see how long he lasts. But I just think he can turn into a title, mate. I like sort of the run backs he's got and things like that. He just looks like a little nugget too. So. But mate,
it's funny you say that because watching that game last week, I'm thinking like I need to get Xavier Coates in. I just think they're going to that side a fair bit, and he's finding a bit of space out there. I think that's not too long until we see him regularly scoring a few tries a week. I wasn't sure about it, and I don't think I think his base has been anything too special. Have a quick look. The base is fucking terrible, which is the problem, but. Yeah, I think they're looking for him a fair bit. I see him getting some big scores this year, and I see him scoring quite regularly.
Yep. Fair enough. Mate, from the Eels, nothing really sort of changed there from last week's team, has there? Nathan Brown gets the 13th spot. Matto, what's going on?
Yeah, still out with a hamstring. So hamstring, heartstring, conveniently closely named. Contract year for Matto as well, so I'm not sure what's doing. Nathan Brown comes in to start at lock as well, and Sean Lane is coming to start on the edge. So, yeah, look, should be a cracker. Obviously, the news that Harry Grant, if you hadn't already heard, has been ruled out due to a positive COVID test, and a lot of people thought that Tyron Wishart would come into the starting squad, but apparently he lives with Harry Grant, so he's probably highly likely to be ruled out also due to their isolation rules. So, whether we see Nick Meaney come in or Jaden Nikorima or Brennan Smith's in the 23, so it's obviously he's nearing a return. It would be
if anyone can play with a broken hand, it's the Chiefs.
Absolutely. So Yeah, just keep an eye on those if you got them. But yeah, definitely no Harry Grant. Josh King as well. You can make a little bit of money, but for how long, not too sure, especially with Cheese breathing down the neck there. But yeah, I don't know. Big game for Mitchell Moses owners and Dylan Brown owners and Reed Marnie owners. This is a big one. They've been pretty good the first couple of weeks, but Melbourne are a different beast. So tempted to put the VC on Pappy even this week. I just feel like Melbourne might do a number on Para after the way Para played last week. I wasn't overly impressed.
Yeah. Mate, with Grant out, Hastings getting suspended, obviously that extending as well. Moses scoring pretty poorly last week against Cronulla. And look, to be fair, how we played 80 minutes with how much we attacked him, Cronulla were absolutely brutal last week. We tried to take him out every time we got the ball. So I reckon he did quite well to finish how he did. But, yeah, definitely something to look at here. Bit of a tough week for the Eels. I think I'll be struggling points-wise this week. But anyway, we'll move on. 7:30 game on the Saturday, Bogues. Raiders looking for redemption after losing the Cowboys last week. They will face another Queensland team in the Gold Coast Titans. The Gold Coast Titans, big news today. Everyone sort of got caught offside thinking that Jermaine Osaka was going to ask for this release to go to the Eels, and then it turns out the Titans had signed him. So, yeah, a little bit of a strange one. He's named at the 22. Mate, for the Raiders, they see the return of Jordan Rapana. We see Brad Schneider come back into the team as well. Matt Frawley go to the bench. And as we've already talked about plenty before, Tommy Starling getting that 9 spot now that Joshy Hodgson is out for the season. Yes.
There's another Fafita on the team list, so I don't know if that's relation to David, but I just noticed there number 24, which won't have any relevance to anything, but I don't know if that's David's brother or it might be, maybe. Yeah. Hold tight with David Fafita. Maybe this is the week to captain him. I've been a week late in all my captains so far this season, so you could look at Fafita for him. It should be good, but yeah, it could be a really Supercoach friendly game. I don't know what the weather's doing down here.
Mate, look, obviously, Canberra in round 1 was solid against Cronulla in the first half. They had their Faders tagline on until they scored in the last sort of 90 seconds. Last week they were absolutely terrible against the Cowboys. I've got a hole for Fafita. Even if Fafita throws in a 50 or a 60 like he normally does when there's no attacking stats. Well, sorry, I shouldn't say no attacking stats, but not as many as you can expect. He's only going to lose 40 or 50K, so I'm not really worried about it too much. I'm more worried about him blowing up and scoring 110, 120 and not having him. So, yeah.
Yeah. And Schneider's back in, obviously, out for the week for COVID. So, if you need a player, Schneider's. Kotrick back too, yeah.
Back in as well. Next game, Bogues, who we got on the Sunday? Yeah, there was a Saturday 7:30 game. Who's playing in that one, Bogues?
No, that's the Saturday 7:30 game. Have you missed the second Sun?
Oh, really?
Which game have you missed?
So have you still got 2 after this, Bogues, or what?
Oh, okay, so there's merely dogs after this, but that's fine. Okay. Yeah. The Brisbane taking on the Cowboys. They're 1-17 as well, so that's the naming the same side as last week. Cowboys, Ruben Cotter joins the bench from Mitch Dunn, who did his ACL. Supercoach Wise King, people with Stags, Cobbo, Payne Haas. That's me. Nanai looked good as well for the Cowboys. It looks like he's going to be the one to not say last chance to jump on Jeremy. Yeah, he did score a try. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. You've got, like I said, you got Cobbo last chance to get on if you think this is a good matchup. I don't know. Payne Haas probably a safe captain as well.
Mate, he's probably priced too high, but I wouldn't say getting Herbie Farnworth in is chasing points. I think Herbie's probably been promised in the last couple of seasons to be this good and to score weeks of Supercoach like we did last week with the 2 tries. Again, he's probably only scored, I think, 85 or 90 odd. But, we always get to the end of the season. Every team's got some player in the team that scored 16 or 18 or 20 tries. He could be that guy for the Broncos. So, again, we've had him on our list before in previous seasons. Considering Stags and Cobbo and how they're sort of take a little while to gel, Broncos definitely look better going left rather than right.
Well, I'm hoping it was just a game plan thing, and then there'll be weeks like this where they potentially hit the right a bit more. Especially you got Adam Reynolds out there. I think Ricky's out on that right edge as well. So I don't know. I would have thought that's probably more your attacking side than Catewell, Farnsworth, and Oates. But yeah, what would I know? Anyway, and then to
sorry,
finish it
fellas,
off.
no graphic for this one, guys. You're gonna have to talk through Bulldogs versus Manly.
Manly and Bulldogs, we all know Turbo owners are hoping that he scores 400. Turbo non-owners are hoping that he scores 80. It's as simple as that. Bulldogs were solid in the first 2 weeks. Definitely improvements there. Pangai, Hetherington, who knows when they get sin bin, who knows when they get sent off. Is what it is.
Well, this will be the one. This will be the game to finish the round. It's all about Turbo. So if you're a non-owner, you probably don't want to watch it. And if you're an owner, you probably don't want to watch it until he scores some sort of decent attacking stats. And hopefully it comes early. But yeah, the Seagulls really need to bounce back. And I think the Dogs are just, they've made it hard for teams. So again, maybe this is an example. The Dogs can sort of try and bring the Eagles down to their level and make it a bit of a dogfight, so to speak. And who knows? We'll see what happens with Turbo, but there'll be plenty of Turbo. Anyone that owns Turbo will have the captaincy on him, and it's going to be a big finish to the round because, it's going to probably make or break a lot of seasons at the end of the day, King.
Imagine him getting ruled out 20 minutes before the game.
Oh, game day. Game day. Late.
It'd be
dark.
It'd be beautiful. Anyway.
Do a hammy in the warm-up or something like that.
Something like that.
Probably prefer that a couple minutes in. Just let him run out there and then.
Yeah. Let him get the 2 points.
No, let him drop the ball once and.
Beautiful. Bugs, what do we got? We're going to trades, or we're going to
return to the trading floor. Yeah.
Return to the trading floor. Play the graphic.
Change places. Change places!
All right. Oh, look at this.
Yeah, Brent didn't know we were going back to the trading floor, so it gave me a bit of time to work on your graphics a little bit.
No, that's right. I like it. This is good. 3 celebrities in. We've got Hutchins. We've got the King himself and little boy Munster. Mate, Cody Walker out. Adam Fanua-Blake out. Kurt Mann out. AFB out is purely to create the cash so I can get the ones up the top in. Nico Hines, what I've seen so far, he's listed there at 5'8". He plays halfback. He plays fullback in Supercoach. I think he has got to be in your team the way he's going at the moment. Joshy King, degenerate from Eagleby. The Eagleby, look at you go. You even got the Eagleby Giants in the background. I tell you what, do you know who coaches the Eagleby Giants Football Club?
No, I don't. I just looked up. So for those who know,
is it Liam Knight?
I sent a text to Josh saying, "What's the worst suburb you live near?" And he sent back Eagleby, and I instantly went on there and just looked up Eagleby Rugby League Club. Found some junior fucking club, and it's just fat cunts. Pictures of fat cunts with fucking polo shirts.
Mark Tukey, the man himself.
Oh, is it really?
He is the coach of the Eagleby first grade football side. So there you go.
He's a legend.
He is. So there you go.
I love Tukes.
And Munster coming in at the expense of the bottom 3 there. Cody Walker just out of form. He's going to bleed cash. AFB, look, there's arguments there that I could keep him, but Maxi King is doing such a good job at 188k. I've got the confidence just to chuck him in the starting spot for now. And yeah, there it is there. That is the trading for this week. Hampton, what do you got, mate? What are you doing?
Not sure still. I've got Kurt Mann, so he'll go out. I've currently got him at 5'8". With 230 odd K in the bank, just deciding whether I'd just go another cheapie and try and save some cash for Cleary's imminent return and possibly Turbo, depending on what happens. But yeah, I mean, I'm keen on yourself this week, mate, just like you are. Yep. I could get to you from Man through Jules, so Monet could go up to 5'8", and then centre winger dual second row forward can go down there. So that's one I'd look at, and then apart from that, not too sure. I'd be tempted to trade a Russell or a Billy Smith, but I don't know if it's the right thing to do at this point. So maybe just the one, but probably not. I'll probably end up doing something really loose because I don't have Hines, I don't have Munster, so I think they're two guys that are looking really good. Obviously, Hines is no secret. Not having those guys, I feel like I just fall behind a fair bit, and I'm already behind. So, but I have Paps and Teddy at fullback and Sexton and Schneider at halfback, so I don't really know how I would get there, and I just brought Sexton in, so might have to just cop it and anti-pod old Hines and hope for the best.
Yeah,
probably won't go well.
One thing in my trades, mate, that I didn't really account for was, obviously Harry Grant, which a lot of people have brought him in, in week 1, week 2, whatever it may be. They can anyone who wanted to bring him in this week can obviously avoid him. So, Tuolangi's out. I've had a couple other hits. Obviously, Hastings is suspended now. So, my depth is definitely going to be tested this week, especially if I want to do the trades that I've put up there. Obviously, in a week where I'm short, getting rid of Cody Walker to get in Munster is a little bit sideways. I can maybe look somewhere else to move. But, mate, I think it's just going to lay the platform better for my season if I give up probably 60 to 80 points this week in being short, or maybe having a Bullimore play or whatever it is. Sometimes it's just what you got to do.
Yeah, that's it. It's like you said, that's the eternal struggle, the cash versus the points, and when's the right week to do it. So,
yep.
Yeah. Captains this week?
Captains this week. Who was I going?
Just go.
Mate, it's a little bit hard. I think Teddy is definitely an option, especially with how the Bunnies have been playing. Again, Friday night match. Let's see what happens there. I do like to sort of go on the day matches, but mate, Payne Haas, I know he only scored 67 last week, 90 odd the week before. Right now, I've got the VC on David Fafita, and I've got the captain on Payne Haas. So basically repeating what I had last week, but I may change that to incorporate Teddy, and we'll see what happens.
Yep, fair call.
Self?
Yeah, not sure. There's a part of me that really wants to just chuck the C on Pat, but also I like your idea of Fafita into Haas. But yeah, not sure. Interesting.
Let's just start running through the results.
Oh yeah, we've still got results. Fuck.
Yeah, we've still got the league, so we'll start with them, and we'll start with the weekly, the groups, and it was nothing Grant can't, or nothing Grant can't. Bush Pigs, good old footy, doing it right. A lot of people naming their fucking teams after injured players, isn't there? And Sambo, I wonder if that's the same Sambo from last year, but with Cobbo and Co. Were the weekly scores. Still low scoring. 1,067 was the top score for the week, which takes us to the overall after 2 weeks. And it's Craig with Swampies, and sitting just a tad over $2,000. Waikari Warriors with is it Damie or Darnie? I can't see the typography of that, but anyway, Damie.
Darnie.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up. Peter's Steelers are Michael. Unleashed Kennel with Jonathan, and Blake with Nelson's Nest wraps up the top 5 in the BJonGameDay group, which takes us to BJ League. So the BJonGameDay League, Finch's kids, Josh, he's good. He's not here to gloat. Top scored in the BJonGameDay League, followed by Mark with the fucking Cowboys, followed by yourself, Brent. So is that the first time the hosts of the show have actually been in the top 3 of anything?
Probably. I'll have a go at those overall ranks, though. There's no one that even...
Yeah.
There's a 4-digit there.
Who is
Quick,
number
moving
1?
on.
Finch's kids.
Yeah.
Move it on.
And Adrianosaurus himself with Rapanorama, and Maddie with Major Pain with 952 wraps up the top 5 for the BJ League. Now, the BJ Invitational, the BJ League, that's the one we invite people to. And usually it's the top scoring ones because it's all the guys from your Facebook groups and people you know and stuff like that. So far this year, the BJ League needs to fucking pull their socks up a bit because the other leagues are fucking them up.
It's fucking round 2, for fuck's sake.
It's round 2 and you're already getting beaten.
You blokes and your fucking
already getting beaten.
Unmeasurable sample sizes. That's
already getting beaten by the BJ Bogan Cup with Something Wong, but with a big, he got the ton, 2017, followed by Barber's White Lines, Michael, Pain in Your Hearse, Michael again, 2 Michael, Dueling Michaels, Savage Goons, Jed with a 992. Followed up by Get the Spin with John with 986, all top 5, scoring higher than the top scorer in the BJ League, which was Josh King, who came in 6th in this league. You're not in this one, Breno, so it's probably going to be the best one.
No, I is this the one Daniel ended up getting in? I sacrificed a spot for Daniel.
I don't think he had any fucking spots left anyway. And what's this one for?
This is the BJonGameDay, the all-in, what we used to call the all-in. This is called the Royal Rumble. And ball bangers. Andrew with turned up with 1,021. Followed very closely, 1 point in it, with Zach with Push and P. I Feel Gould, Damon with 1,007. NVH, Nathan with a 984. And then Lime Milk, Tristan with 977 wraps up the top 5 for the. Sorry?
Where's the group one?
You got
the group one next?
Oh, you were gone.
What's the highest rank
Let me
we've
bring
got
it
in the
back
group at the
up.
moment?
So for the week or overall?
Overall.
That'd be Swampy's Craig with 2,062 total score.
179, King.
179 there.
So
yeah, okay. Jesus, an average of 1,031 has you sitting at 179th. That's insane compared to last season. Wow.
Do we know if there's anything been done with the scoring, or has it just been rule changes?
No changes to scoring categories. It's all rugby league rule changes.
Yep. It's just slower games.
It was interesting, King, on this. I think I mentioned it's obviously, again, pretty hard. Still not much of a sample just yet, but across the board already we're seeing consistently lower scores, obviously, and just not those big blowouts that we saw last season. And I put it down to just the simple fact that obviously having the no 6 agains in coming out of your own half, the penalty, it does piggyback teams out of there, but teams aren't having to defend continuously, you know, 6 to 10 to however many tackles in a row, which they generally wouldn't do. You generally get that set and then you get the ball back, or any sort of rest is a big
something from the chat.
That's the big one.
We've been joined by the illustrious Adrianosaurus himself. He said I'll stay unless I see Marty in here. So what's going on? What's going on there, gents?
Marty's been in here all night, mate.
What's going on there? Is a bit of a grudge.
Yeah,
Do
Marty.
we have to set up another grudge match? We had the grudge match between.
Oh, mate, they have a run
No,
in our chat rooms.
there was some banter
We
going
had
on.
the grudge
or there
match
was some-
between fucking Kane Anderson and Adrian. Do we need to set up a grudge match between Marty and Ados?
What's the conversation?
It's I don't know. I thought Ados had just got too big for us, mate. His show's going really well, it seems, and
You're right on. Yeah. No. Hey,
look, I was just
Look,
actually
Dad-
talking about footy stuff, and I just
Sorry.
got cut off for that.
Oop.
So, anyway, King, what I was
Marty and
saying was,
Marty and
fuck's sake,
Ados is like,
fucking home and away of Supercoach, or fucking, I might just go. It's fucking.
Marty and Ados, they just have a crack at each other. They're like that married couple of after 20 years who, you know, something you say is going to piss off the other one, and so you say it anyway. And anyway, yeah, they have a bit of fun together. But there we go.
no,
Mate, I'm done for the week. We done?
draft.
No, as I was saying, hang on,
Let me
I'm
get through
not
the
done.
fucking graphics.
I had put it down to the 6 again change, but I recently read an article from Paul Gallen who disagrees heavily that has anything to do with any of the changes that we're seeing. It obviously had nothing to do with Supercoach, but it was still relevant. So I don't know. There's some greater minds out there in the Supercoach community that I'm sure will be able to crunch some statistics, aggregate statistics, and all different types of things. But generally, it looks like even after just a small sample size of 2, scores are consistently going to be lower, and that rule change has made a difference. And the games are just much more of a contest. I think they got the footy perfect. All the games are pretty exciting and contests, and I like it. But yeah, Supercoach looks like it's going to be a different beast to last year. That's for sure.
Yep.
Draft
that was all.
results.
Fair enough.
Oops, sorry, fellas. I'm just going to have to move this above you,
That's it.
fellas.
I lost. Who did I lose to?
Me, the man.
Huh?
Boom,
I lost to
baby.
you. Oh,
Yeah.
thanks. That's
I
right.
think
I'm
you were-
1-1. That means
you
I'm
were
actually
gonna-
one.
You got a bit stiff. I think you were going to get Ponga as your AE because you weren't.
I
You
got
know, you
McKenna,
had.
didn't I?
Well, and then Ponga got ruled out, so then you ended up having 2 not play. I think so.
But yeah.
I think I went 0 from 4 last week in all 4 of my drafts. So just standard draft activity for me. So Hambo beat me. Coolers Kebabs Climmy sits on top of the ladder on 4 and against 2-0. He got over Kando with a good score. Kando.
Remembering he got the auto draft in his first 2 picks, I think with Toto and Garrick.
Was it? No, Garrick. Yeah, that's
Garrick
right.
and Toto sitting on top. Anyway,
Auto draft, mate. It's the way to go. I think
it
it's
is.
proved as the way to go. So,
All right.
right, 48 beat 40-89. Bogues, you beat Shano. Benny beat Wayno. Hell's Granny's. Wayno's had a tough start to the season. And Matty Shockmaster beating Ted in a close one.
I'm not sure Wayno's checked his side. He had another couple guys not playing on the weekend, I think. So I don't know. I might have to hit him up.
Check in with his mate in the chat or something. Let us know. Make sure you're doing
This
all right,
takes
buddy.
us to the ladder with Climmy, Goulas Kebabs sitting up top after 2 rounds.
Points for 1,503. Big scoring.
Followed
Not bad, not bad.
by Benny with High Marsh's crack. And they're the 2 undefeated teams.
Very good.
Oop, not that one. This one. That's it, fellas.
Cheers. That's
We've
it. We're out of here for another
got
week,
anyone to
ladies
shout
and
out?
gentlemen. Thank you for joining us once again.
Got anyone to shout
What's
out
that?
or anything like that?
Not this week, mate. Not this week. None of these cunts deserve it.
Shout out to fucking what's his name, Grover, from early on. I don't know if he's still in the chat.
Yeah, he's the class MVP.
he's the only one who doesn't have a wrench now. But yeah,
Hey,
Look, as always, thanks, Bogues. Thanks, King, everyone in the chat. Thanks, as always. Good luck
Brent,
over the weekend.
We need a new angle next week, mate. Come up with something different, eh?
Yeah, I might go the what's the underneath point of view? You know,
Under boob.
Under boob.
I don't know.
Side boob.
Bit of sack, a bit of ball sack. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining. As always, chat was lit, always entertaining, and yeah, we'll see you next week. May the Supercoach gods be kind.
Yeah, boys and girls.